I would like to welcome everyone to my kitchen. Today, I am willing to cook for you wherever you desire. Do you know what are the rules in my kitchen? The rules are very simple. When I applied to be hired in this hotel, they told me something very simple. They say there's one question you need to answer. And they say, what is that? Are you gonna ask me if I know how to cook rice, chicken, Indian food, Arabic food? What is the question that you would like me to answer? They said, no. They said, cooking is something that can be done by anyone. But creative cooking is different. I said, what do you mean creative? I know how to do amazing creative food. They say, no. Creative cooking is your ability to use accounting while you are cooking. I say, what do you mean by accounting? I didn't study accounting. They said, no. The meaning of accounting, how can you reduce the cost of the meal when you are preparing it to the customer? How can you provide the same kind of flavors, even more amazing flavors, with a less cost? They told me, when they want to hire me for this position, when you make a chocolate cake, make sure there is no chocolate in it, because chocolate is expensive. So what can I do? I can buy flour, and I can buy certain kind of artificial coloring that will make it look like a chocolate, and special powder that will make it taste like chocolate, and special artificial flavors that will make it even more. So when you eat it, you'll be like, this is the best chocolate cake ever, but you don't know that there is no chocolate in it. This is how these guys who are cooking, who are preparing meals, they are tricking us. Every time you go to a restaurant and they say, would you like orange juice? They come and give you orange juice, but you forgot to ask them, is it fresh orange juice? Because actually it's not a fresh orange juice. It's just orange juice, which is an actual water with some flavor of some concentration of an orange juice that they manufacture and they preserve for the last 10 years. And after that, they are giving it to you to drink. And you are like, wow, this is so good. It's so close to the original, if it's not even better. And you got so used to it. So when you go and drink the actual orange juice, one time you'll be like, why it's so sour? Because this is how it should be. But you are used to a very sugary orange juice. And you are drinking it and you are so happy. So let's speak about what we call the eating experience. Eating is about something very simple. Eating is not about the food. What? Yes. Eating is about the experience. Restaurants, organizations, corporations, they understood that eating is all about understanding how can we design amazing experience. When you are going to go through it, you will be deceived to think this is unbelievable meal. While we are giving you the less ingredients, while we are giving you a very bad meal for you, because we are not gonna give you a good meal. What's the main reason? Because good meal will cost money, and you decided to go with us and not pay so much money. So in that way, we have to be able to make a profit. Our margin is so short, so we are gonna generate the right meal. So what do we mean by that? They need to understand that any kind of dish is based on 5 things. 5 things only. What are they? Our 5 senses. How we touch the food and how we feel when we touch the food. How we smell the food, right? And how we taste the food. And how we hear things related to the food. And how we see. These are the 5 senses that these guys, that chefs, master how to manipulate our senses with. Imagine some organization, they have potato chips, that the minute you open the potato chips, you're like, the unbelievable flavor, the smell. But actually, it's an actual, believe it or not, an actual smell they added inside the potato chips. So it's an actual air they have inside, just the whole purpose for you to smell it. So when you smell it and then you are eating the potato chips, you are integrating that air with the potato chips and say, it's nicer. Unbelievable. They say when you go through this experience, this amazing experience, what is that? It's all about making sure that they can give your senses the right experience. Starting from what? Starting from the kind of paper they are using to wrap the hamburger. You touch this paper, and this is a very nice, light paper, and it's like creating all this sound in your hand, so you feel it's nice. Not only that, you touch the bread on top, and this bread is very light bread. It's not a heavy bread. It's very fluffy, light bread. Why? Because you are eating all this fat, so in that way you feel good that the bread is actually light, so you feel it's good. It's not that fatty. Compared when you are going to eat something like really heavy bread, you feel it's fatty. From the smell of the hamburger, believe it or not, some of the restaurants, the smell that you smell inside the hamburger shop is not coming from the hamburger you eat. It's coming from a certain smell they have in the restaurant. Nice, you eat, but this is not what you are eating. Because you are smelling the atmosphere in the air around. Very interesting. They discover that if they want you to eat fast food, something like hamburger, and feel good about it, you need to eat quantity. Look, when you go, you don't order 1 or 2, you order more. How they can do that? They understood that they need to create a way for you to dance with the music. So they create a music that's very loud with a certain tonality, tan 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 tan, with certain tonality. So in that way, without feeling, you are in the restaurant and you are with the music. You're like potato. You are with the music. You are integrating your eating with the music, so you feel you are in a rhythm with the music, and you eat more. These are all the techniques they are using. They are deceiving you with the images. Look at these burgers that you get compared when you enter and you see this amazing burger with unbelievable big tomato, and burger is going outside the bread compared to this burger that you have hardly you can see here compared to the burger going out. Why? They say these actually burgers you can't eat. They had to go and cook it and cut it in a way just for the photo. This tomato that you see red and your tomato is like half red, half white, is actually not a tomato. They added lipsticks to the tomato to make it shine under the color. They manipulated the whole experience. They manipulated how we eat, how we smell, how we see, for them to be able to sell us what they want. So our story today is about a journey. I'm going to take you over an adventure of the food we eat, from the morning, from the breakfast until the dinner, and see why we are eating what we are eating. Who invented this way of eating? Who invented this kind of food on the buffet, and how good and bad is this food, and what we have inside that food, and how they are fooling us every step of the way. So let's start with an amazing experience. Let's start first with experiences. You know this experience? When you go to watch a movie, why you want this popcorn? Why? It's cool, right? They said movie theaters, they make money from the popcorn, not the movies. Imagine 70% of the money they get from the popcorn. Why? The movies is 35, whatever, 40, but they have to pay so many fees and here and there. But the popcorn is costing them 100 dirham, and they are selling it to you for how much? 30, 25, and this Coke it's costing them less than half dirham, and they are selling it to you for 17. They understood something very interesting. Having something crunching inside your mouth, crunching, while you are watching a very interesting action movie, it will fit with the experience, because there's so much noise outside and there's something crunching in your mouth, so you feel you are enjoying the experience. Try to take a popcorn and try to go sit and watch an actual drama in your house. It will not work. Why? You need this massive voice, massive screen to block your senses, so in that way you are into the experience. And this is what they understood. They understood how to sell you the experience. What do you see here? Something interesting, right? We call this cupcake. What is unique about cupcake? Look, we have, in the old days, we have something called cake, right? Yeah. Which is the cake, it's like a triangle. They discover this is not selling like the cupcake. Cupcake was the new invention. Why? The shape. The shape. They said every time you see something rounded, you immediately feel it's sweet. So they understood that for us as a human, when we see anything rounded, we feel it's sweet. When it's squared or triangle or any other shape, we don't feel it's sweet. When it's actually with a very hard edges, we think this food is actually sour, or this food is gonna be actually bitter. So they understood when we see something like this with hard edges, we feel that feeling. They understood that they need to create the shape of the food in a way we associated with certain things. So it's not only about the food itself, it's about how the shape should be on the table for us to eat it, which is interesting. The shape of the food is important. And the shape of the food will affect our decisions and the shape of the plate we eat in it. Excuse me, what's the meaning of the shape of the plate? They did a study for someone to go to eat in a buffet, and they can give them a plate that's rounded and a plate that's square. Which one do you think the person ate more, in the one that's square or the one that's rounded? What do you think? Rounded. Rounded, they ate more. They discovered the minute you have square for some reason or another, you start eating, but something, when you are looking at the plate, looking at the experience, putting the food in the plate, you put less amount for some reason or another, even it's the same actual size when they did the calculation, but at the same time you eat less, which is interesting. They decided, what about changing the color of the plate? The color of the plate, is it going to affect how we are going to eat or not? Yes. And they discover yes. They discover they changed the color of the plate from white to blue, and they discover individuals are eating much less. Like, why? That's so weird. They say it because for us as a human, we hate anything called blue when it comes to food. Anything we eat with the color blue, anything, hardly anything you eat with a bright blue, hardly any food with a bright blue. You have green, you have orange, even we call them blueberries, they are not dark blue. They are closer to black rather than to blue. It's hard for us to see any color blue. So imagine you are seeing it in your face with the food, blue, 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 blue. You are not going to have that much appetite, and you don't know why. And the guys in the restaurant, they are saying, oh, we are just trying to make it colorful, give you blue plates. And this is interesting. So they did a very interesting study about how our senses, they decide what we eat, and how someone can fool our senses and can send us a wrong message just based on that. So they did an experiment in a restaurant, and they gave someone a fish, and he was eating the fish in a restaurant. Then they give him the fish, and they make him listen to the sound of the waves and the birds on the ocean. And he said that this fish is the best fish compared to the other fish, which is the same fish. It's just the sound that you have in the background that's linking with the experience. Is it giving me the right results or the wrong results? Look how interesting. Very interesting when we can play with this sensory and change your experience. We call it multisensory experience, and how we can make it completely different. They say we eat with our eyes. So when you see the dish, and the dish is very colorful and nice, you taste it much better, and you don't know why. Because the taste is not based on what's the actual taste that you have in your mouth. It's all these sensories, the eye, the smell, the mouth, all of them coming together to have it. How many of you eat with a spoon and knives? Pizza. You like eating pizza and spoon and knife? No, you like to what? Have it in your hand. Look how interesting. The same pizza, eat it with knife and spoon, and you don't feel it's as tasty as if you have. Why? Something weird, right? What about burger? Can you imagine eating burger with a knife? And you need that experience. And they understood it's all about figuring out how to maximize the experience. When you see something like this, what do you think this drink? What kind of drink is this? What kind of this? Cocktail. What's inside this cocktail? Just looking at the image. What's inside the cocktail? Orange, carrot, pineapple, food color, right? So they discover if they give you the same, this is a cranberry juice. If they give you the same cranberry juice, but they just add some coloring to appear it's cranberry/orange, when you taste it, you will not feel it's as sour as it's only cranberry, but it's the same juice. Just because you look at it and you see this is a cocktail, it's not cranberry juice, but it's only cranberry juice with some coloring. They affect your senses by changing your expectation about the experience you are going to have. So in that way, the experience will actually be influenced about what you think before you try. How interesting. They did an experiment in a shop where they have 3 wines, and one wine is very cheap and one wine is very expensive, but they changed the prices where they had the expensive wine cheap and the cheap expensive, and when you tested you say this is better. You are saying the cheap one is better. Why? Because you looked at the price. Unbelievable. You go to the restaurant and you say yes, this is the one. So this is about the concept of manipulating your senses. Now, if they manipulate my senses, that's fine. They make my experience nicer. I would like to thank them. But if they're manipulating my senses and they are making me eat more sugar and have more fat, and at the end I'm gaining weight and I'm getting heart attack and I'm getting cancer because they are using all these chemicals inside the food, this is the thing that I don't like. This is the thing that I hate. This is the thing that I will refuse. But if they were able to fool me, it's my mistake. Very interesting movie called What is the Health? They are showing you that more than 1 million are dying. And the reason for dying is for something very interesting. Portion of it is related to heart attack. Some of it is related to cancer. 400,000 they are dying for cancer. And some of them they are dying because of diabetes. And what is the main reason for that? Is the main reason that the food we are eating. All of us, we love to be with energy. We like to eat because we would like to get this power, right? Why we eat? We need to be able to function, to be better. We feel hungry because we are working out. We feel hungry because we are actually trying to do something. We are trying to work, we want coffee. We are trying to work, we need sugar. That's okay. But what is the food we are putting inside our body? Is it okay or not? The first thing they discovered, and it's up to you. You can go and read the research. You can go and decide if this is right or wrong. But the first thing they discovered, that eating animal tissues, look what I'm saying, animal tissues. I'm not saying eating chicken. I'm not saying beef. I'm not saying shrimp. Any animal tissues will cause something inside your body which is very interesting. Animal tissues will change your own tissues. And they discover one of the main reasons for cancer is that your body tissue will change because of these animal tissues you are eating. Now, if you eat animal tissue, that will not change your body. But what we are doing, 80-90% of our diet, they are animal tissues. So massive amount of animal tissues is going inside our body, and our body is changing. If you eat a little bit, it's okay because your body can deal with it. But you are eating massive amount, what we call the Western diet. What is the Western diet? The Western diet is meat, 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 and other kind of processed food with it, and some vegetables on the side. So you have processed food, they are full of saturated fat, and you have meat, and you have a little bit vegetables. And then you have dessert, sugar, and you have the Coke with sugar, and you have the appetizer with sugar. And you are eating all that. And after that, having more drinks, which is more chemicals going inside your body, which is interesting. You know, at the end, you wonder what happened. So they say the secret is so simple. If you want to eat any animal tissues, you can eat fish, chicken, okay, but eat a small portion so your body can deal with it. Eating massive amount will cause issues. Now you say, Iyad, I agree with you, I don't agree with you, I've been eating all this life, my grandfather happened. Yes, your grandfather was eating actually a meat from a cow that was wandering on top of the mountain eating grass. You are eating a cow that's actually in prison inside an area where they are feeding it, I don't know what kind of chemicals and antibacteria stuff and certain kind of things that will make the cow get fatter and will make sure that the milk is better and will make sure the meat will taste much better and the cow will not die. And you are at the end eating all that when you are eating this cow. And the cow is not eating grass. So all this grass that actually is good for us to eat, that the cow is eating, is not coming to us. You are eating a chicken that's not running around trying to eat things from the ground, that's actually inside for a short period of time just to get fat, and some of the chicken, they can't move. They are just sitting and they are eating, then eating. They are not moving even. Very interesting. So at the end of the day, what are you eating? Are you eating something that's actually natural, or you are eating something that's processed? The current thing that you are eating is a process. Even the environment that this fish is actually living in is not the right environment. The fish is living in a water the water is polluted. And there are so many issues happening where this meat that you are putting at the end in your body is got so many mercuries and issues, and you are taking all the waste in the sea inside your body again. So what we are saying not don't eat meat and chicken and stop and being veggie, which is, if you do, based on so many statistics, they say your life will improve. You will be able to get less chances of heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. But just reduce the amount. Now, why the industry is winning? Why corporations are winning? Because of a very simple trick all of us we play. What is that trick? The trick, we call it doubt. If one expert will tell you eating chicken is good for you, and one expert will come and tell you eating chicken is not good for you, and you are wondering between these millions of experts who everyone is saying something, and you say, I really don't know what is the truth. So at the end, what you say? You say, because I don't know, I'm just not gonna bother anymore. Because one day they say you do this, one day they say you do that, one day they say discover is strong, one day they say discover is good, and then you are confused. What the hell? What should I do? I should believe? So you say, who cares? I just eat, and do you like my grandfather, and I will survive, and it will be okay. Me like everyone else. But I will be careful. What's the meaning I be careful? When I make my choice, I try to make the right choice. So you walk in this aisle in the supermarket, and you are trying to make the right choice looking at all these things, right? Like what? You look at these eggs, they say, we are eggs full of omega-3. You were like, wow, I believe these eggs are much better. Right? And you buy them. Why you look at these eggs and you buy them? Because they are good with omega-3. My question, in the old days, we don't have omega-3 inside our eggs. Why the hell you need omega-3 inside the eggs? The secret is very simple. Look what happened. First, do you remember the old eggs we used to buy eggs. When you go to buy the eggs are dirty. Why? Because one egg is brown, one egg is light brown. Now all these eggs, they look exactly the same. It's like they are coming from production line. With the same size, not one big, one small. I remember in the old days in Syria, when my mom would send me to select the eggs, she would say, select big ones, huh? Because we select them one by one. And actually we do like this. We see, are they actually okay or not okay? Because maybe they are spoiled. Now the eggs are all manufactured the same color, the same size. Wow, interesting. They inject things in the chicken for the chicken to give more eggs. Interesting. So
the eggs are in plastic form.
Yes, there are eggs in plastic form. So look what they say here. Why we have omega-3 inside the eggs? Because they say every time you consume an egg, you are increasing the omega-6 inside your body. Now, your body should have certain percentage of omega-3 and certain percentage of omega-6. Let's say your body should have, omega-3 double than omega-6. When you are consuming so many eggs, you have only small portion of omega-3, and now you have a huge portion of omega-6, so omega-6 will take over omega-3. So to balance this, what they do? They are injecting omega-3 inside the eggs. So now you eat the eggs, omega-3 will increase and omega-6 will increase, you still in the balance. But now you have so many omegas. So in that way, you will not have the issues related to eating eggs. Because if you eat so many eggs, you are going to go and eat omega-3 to compensate. They are given it together. And for you as a consumer, I don't know why, it looks better with omega-3. Something better. So I will take it, buy it. Interesting. So this is what we eat every day in the morning, right? Eggs. They say eggs are sometimes worse than eating chicken. You'll be like, why? A chicken is the whole chicken you are eating portion. Egg is the concentration of the chicken in an egg. You are like taking an insulin inside your body of a chicken. One shot. So it's interesting. Again, there are so many research you can go and read, but this is, some of the research that they have about why you should cut on eating eggs. Once a week, it's okay. but not every day in the morning, especially for these guys who are working out. Eggs, we need eggs. Why we need eggs? What we have inside the eggs? Protein. This is the biggest lie ever. They tell you, you need to have more protein. They said our body will need a certain amount of protein that you are going to actually be able to get it from eating any natural source, from fruit or from any whole wheat diet or any kind of vegetables. But for one reason or another, because of the advertisement, they say it's protein. The more protein, the better. If you work out, you need more protein. Your body in one day can't process more than certain amount of protein. But because of the advertisement, protein powder, protein bar, protein, we are going with the protein. And we are saying we need more eggs because we need protein in the morning, where you can get it from so many sources. Not only protein, they said we need to grow. For us to grow, what we need? We need calcium for us to grow, right? So we need eggs, protein. This is the first thing, protein. Then they have massive amount of calcium. Where can we get our calcium from? Milk. They say we need calcium from milk. Who created this concept? The milk industry. They said we need calcium from milk, where you can get calcium from so many sources. So many fruits and vegetables, they have calcium. They said as a human, you don't need a day more than certain amount of calcium. More than that is not okay. Imagine, they say a kid growing up, we need calcium for him to grow. Yes, but for us, once we are adult, we can't grow more. That's it. So we don't need certain amount of calcium. But we think that the calcium in the milk is going to help make our bones strong. Look at the ad, right? Some studies showed that the calcium that we have in the milk compared to the calcium we got from actual vegetables and fruit, it will make your bones weaker. So if you want to drink milk, again, that's okay. But make sure you get a balanced calcium, where the calcium that you are getting also from what? From vegetables. Now they created something very interesting. They discovered that not everyone is drinking their milk. Do you like to wake up in the morning and have a glass of milk? Not really. But if you have them with these, now you don't feel it's milk anymore. It's milk with so much sugar and flavor, right? And something chewing with it. And you feel you are just taking it and eating it. So what is the secret of this brand? Right? What is the secret of the brand? This brand was very famous. Why? Because in US they did a very interesting study. The study said the following. The study came and they said, this is a study, again, it's not proved as a science, as a study. Said, it's bad for you to eat protein. It's bad for you to eat fat. What you need to eat actually, you need to cut on the following. You need to cut on any source of fat and get carbohydrate, get sugar. Fat is bad, but carbohydrate is good. So because of that school, that concept, these guys, they invented the concept of taking these carbs and making them in cornflakes and giving it to you in the meal, because eating it alone you can't. And in that way, when you eat them, you get your carbs. So the whole movement all over the world moved that eating fat for morning is bad, which is which is eggs, which is sausages, with the chicken, any kind of fat. What you need to eat? You need to eat a carbohydrate diet, which is you need to eat actually flour. You need to eat actually sugar. And this is why they introduced the concept of cereal. But now you are wondering why we are eating cereal. Because of that concept. It was adapted massively by so many famous individuals all over the world, by so many politicians, where it got its famous appeal. And after that, now everyone is doing what? Is eating cornflakes. And you wonder why. Cornflakes is a diet based on you don't eat the fat. But what we do, we go get some cornflakes and fat together now. And these cornflakes, they are full of what? Of sugar. How they were able to convince us to buy all this food? In a very interesting way. By making this food what we call the healthy. You go to buy cornflakes and you feel cornflakes is bad. Then they said, this is cornflakes with vitamin B and C and D and omega and with whole wheat and made. Oh, you'll be like, wow, it's like, this is the best fruit ever. I don't need to eat fruit, got this everything. Vitamin C and D, and they add all this stuff just to make you feel good while you are eating it.
But it's a tool, yes? Because they cannot write something.
Of course, they add them. But the vitamins they add them, they are a vitamin added to the cereal. Which is, you can go and get an orange and you can have the vitamins. But now you are saying, no need for me to eat the orange. I will eat the cereal and the vitamin already in it. So in that way, you are even with your head going down because you are saying, I'm getting all my vitamins from an actual nutrition added to my food.
And the sugar create.
And of course, there is a lot of sugar in it, right? So this is what we are having for breakfast. What about this? This is what we have every day in the morning, right?
Yeah.
What is that? Coffee. Coffee. They got the best business ever. Why? They say 1 cup of coffee every day in the morning to wake up, to get this hit in the morning. You are feeling bad, you get coffee. So when you get coffee and you want to get this hit, do you go and order coffee which is decaf or normal coffee? Why? Because you want to get this hit. So they discover if you are trying to do a massive performance, which is trying to wake up and go to work, and you want this shot to get you on, you go and get coffee. When you get coffee, what will happen? It will send to your body saying something like, we are on fire, get on. So your body, all the metabolism will go up, and now you are ready for a fight, ready for action. This is why they say if you are going to run a marathon, before take a coffee, because your body will be on fire. You are going to actually go to war. But what happened? The effect of coffee will stay in your body for a certain amount, because your body, after your body will get on fire, the mechanism inside your body will say, okay, now we need to deal with the situation, and we bring your body back to normality. So after 2 hours, from the high, you are going to start getting low. But meanwhile, your body sugar level went up because we are in a high stage. The minute your body will send the signal, you are in high stage, let's work, your body will take all the sugar and break it down so we can use it as an energy source. So your sugar level is high, but actually you didn't use it. Why? Because you are still brushing your teeth, trying to go. But you got that energy. Then you go down. What you need now when you get to work? Another cup of coffee. Another cup of coffee will get you up. So this where it will affect, your kidneys, where it's working up and down, up and down, up and down. It's like a roller coaster until you get exactly what you need. How they make us test the coffee and know it's the right coffee. That's another secret. So coffee by itself, it's okay if you drink it in a moderate. You don't drink 5 cups of coffees. You don't drink cup of coffee every day. Or if you want to drink coffee, drink it sometime decaf. So it will have less effect on you. But when you are drinking coffee, how many of you like your coffee strong? How many? Strong coffee, right? How many of you like it to be weak coffee? Not that strong, like weak. So much water or with milk. So they did a very interesting study. They said for a coffee shop, if you want to serve coffee and say this coffee is strong, you need to have a coffee shop with a very bright color. You go test the coffee, and even if the coffee not that strong, you say it's strong. And if you want the coffee to appear actually weak, you dim the light. So when someone will drink it, you say, oh, this is the perfect coffee. How interesting. The light of the coffee shop can affect your experience. They were selling very strong coffee to individuals in dim color, and they drink it, they say, no, that's not strong. They say it's very strong. But when they change it to bright color, they say, yes, it's strong now. The light will affect it. This is why when you go to coffee shop, you see how they make the light. It depends on what kind of coffee they are branding and selling. Not only the light, they discover that the cup they give you to hold your coffee will affect your decision if this coffee is good or bad. The cup. What's the meaning of that? They discover if you go to a shop and you take that cup and the cup is not heavy, not the coffee, the cup is not heavy, you feel the coffee is like actually not that good. But if you hold the cup and the cup is heavy, you will feel a much more interesting experience with the coffee. Look how interesting. They discover the shape on top of your coffee. Do you know when you go to Costa or Starbucks, they do certain shapes on the coffee? They say if they make the shape rounded or hard or whatever, you feel the coffee sweeter. And if they make the shape edgy shape, like a square or triangle, it will make you feel your coffee a little bit bitter. Interesting. The shape on it. Look, we don't think about all this stuff, but this is how all our body sending signals. Because your eyes are looking at something, your mouth is tasting something, you are holding something, and all the signal is going to your brain saying, is this good or bad? Is this good or bad? And you are analyzing and you are making your decision. It's all about coffee. They say the sound of someone making coffee, when you go, they don't do like, they are brewing the coffee and like, you hear this sound? They say that sound is like music to your ear. You feel, oh, fresh coffee coming. They say in some shops, the coffee is coming normal, but they just added the sound to the machine to make you feel good. Look how interesting with this coffee that we are drinking. All these senses. They say in some coffee shops, they have a special aroma coming from the store. It's not from the coffee you are drinking, but you are drinking this coffee, which tastes nothing, and you are smelling the aroma, and you say, amazing coffee. Just take it outside, you'll be like, why it's not as good when it was inside the coffee shop? Because the secret is in the coffee that you are drinking. No, it's in the experience you are providing to these individuals. What about these energy drinks that we try to get in the morning? What are the secrets of the energy drink? They say some drinks can give you wings and fly, right? I don't know if that's true. Right? But the main concept of energy drink is very simple. What is the concept of energy drink?
Caffeine. High caffeine, high sugar, energy.
Correct. I wish that's the whole truth. Because if you are taking shot of caffeine and energy, which is good, you can do it with coffee, you can do it with so many things. But some of these energy drinks created a way for them to manipulate your body. The way they do it, the following. Once you drink this energy drink, it will send signal to your brain saying, stop getting the signal from your body. So your body is completely weak, but your brain saying, I am good, I can dance. So they go and they block the sensors inside your brain to communicate the signals from your body for the next 4 hours. So this is why you feel like, wow, I don't know where I got the sudden energy. Your body is not getting the energy. Your body is saying, please stop. And you are dancing. And you are getting all this energy. And you're doing another one. Yeah. Because now the sensors are completely blocked. The minute after 4 hours that the sensors, they are now not under the influence of this drug, you will collapse on the floor. Done. Your body is saying, I give up. Look how interesting. They are not giving you the caffeine you want. They are actually manipulating how your body is processing the signals. But yeah, it's their ability to be able to manipulate your body. Of course, they are not going to sell you that when they market. They say just drink the energy drink. But actually, this is what's happening. It's not the caffeine that's giving you the energy. It's the signal that's sending to your body. But the interesting thing, someone will say, look, I drink a diet energy drink with no sugar. Better, huh? Do you believe all these gimmicks when you go drink diet Coca-Cola or diet Pepsi is much better because you cut in sugar? They discover, based on so many studies, the guy who will eat diet food, like all these diet cookies and diet, which is with no sugar or zero sugar or low sugar, actually it's making him gain more weight. How someone can gain more weight. Look what will happen to our body. When we drink Coke, there is sugar in it. Our body will send a signal. There is sugar, guys. What we need to do, they say, okay, let's start processing, deciding. Are we going to convert it to energy or we are going to store it? One of two. But when we are actually drinking a sweetened Coke, which is a Coke with a certain sweeter that it will taste good, but actually is not sugar, the sweeter will trick our body and will say, this is sweet. So your body will say, okay, we are drinking sugar, guys. Let's process the sugar. And you drink, but there's no sugar. So your body is confused now. Sweet. What is the sugar? Sweet. No, where is the sugar? So your body is waiting for the sugar, waiting for the sugar. There's no sugar. So after drinking the diet Coke, after a while, your body will send the signal to your brain. Hey, we are low in sugar. Send sugar. Why? Because we are ready to process the sugar, but we didn't sugar. So then you go and eat something sugary to compensate because your body is asking for sugar. Because they are ready to process sugar, but you trick them, you give them a sweetener. How interesting. The way they make us process things, we say, oh, I want diet, huh? Diet, I'm cutting. Yes, you are cutting, and then you go have the sweet. Why? Because your body is asking now for sugar, asking for chocolate, asking for something sweet. How interesting. If it's not sweet, it's asking for something that will give you the same effect. Something will please you. See, food is all about what? Pleasure. This is why our session here called what? Pleasure traps. How can we make you fall into all these traps so that way you are addicted to these chemicals? All these chemicals, they make you come back for more and more and more. They create addiction. What's the addiction? Is your feeling of pleasure with the consumption of the food. Once they link that, you are like an addict. You want that to feel the pleasure. Your body will feel the pleasure only when you consume these goods. Sensations. Now what about when we are speaking about all the other products? How many of you, when you would like to go buy coffee or you buy milk, you say, listen, don't give me full fat milk, give me skim milk. Give me what? Low fat milk. They did a very interesting study and they discovered that if you consume a full fat milk or low fat milk, at the end you will lose a very small amount over a full year. Very, very, very small amount. It's not like something you even consider it. Of course, it will be less, but over the long use for 1 year, very small. But we feel like much better when we go, oh look, this is a very interesting thing. The milk industry understood. If you are running from the fat, they create another one with low fat, which is they have the same thing except they reduce the amount of fat, which is not going to affect you on over the long term, because it's not about that fat you are eating in the milk. It's about the milk itself. But they trick us with this low fat, zero sugar, right? Sometimes you take a product and it's zero fat, zero sugar, zero carbohydrate. What they have inside? Only chemicals left. Right? They say full of chemicals, zero everything. Because they took everything out. How many of you love to, rather than having sugar, because you say now sugar, we say sugar is bad. So how many of you say, I am not eating cookie with sugar, I'm eating cookie with honey. I'm not drinking tea with sugar because sugar is bad. I'm adding some honey to my tea. Lovely honey, right? This is why they say more money, what? More honey. But look what they say. They say no honey, more money. In the honey we are eating, they reduce the amount of the honey and they replace it with a rice syrup. How interesting.
But you get the pure honey also in the market.
Of course, you can get pure honey, but how can you get this pure honey? Because do you know what happening? Look, something very interesting happening. They discovered that the production of the honey globally is going down and down and down because bees are dying. However, the total production globally over the last couple of years doubled. So how come we are producing more honey and we don't have bees? So they discover, they take, and they make a little bit honey and they mix it with syrup rice. And when you test it in the lab, not when you eat it, the lab will not be able to identify this is not original honey. Because the lab, when will get a honey mixed with rice syrup, it will trick all their testing equipment because it's very similar. It looks like it's a honey.
What about the dog?
How interesting. The animal is different, right? We don't have these sensations. But this is why when you are buying this honey and you are buying the honey for your kids because it's cute, looks like a donkey or an animal or a giraffe or whatever, and you are not looking at the ingredients and you are not checking if it's pure honey, it's actually you are buying syrup, you are not buying honey. So when you buy honey, make sure you buy farmer's honey. You make sure that you know the source, not you buy something in the market.
Biggest producer is China.
Yes.
They don't have bees.
Exactly. The largest producer is China. They were producing unbelievable amount and they were shipping it to US. So US discovered that this has happened. So they said, we don't accept any honey anymore from China. So what Chinese did? They send all their honey to Malaysia. They package it that they are actually in Malaysia and they send it to US and US took it. Easy, right? This is the trick. When you are speaking about the honey or you are speaking about all these products that they said we have honey in them, what kind of honey they have? That's the story. What kind of honey? Now food is about 3 pleasures. Today our topic is about pleasure traps. what are the 3 things that when we mix them, you get, the maximum amount of pleasure? They say 3 things.
Desire.
They are fat, sugar, and salt. Mix them together like this. Fat, sugar, and salt. Wow, they taste so good. So good. You ate this a burger full of fat, and then you want something sweet. Then you drink this Coke, which is full of sugar. Then you want something salty. Then you have that fries, and you are like, wow. It's unbelievable experience. They were very smart in figuring out how they give us these 3 things, which is so bad for us. So bad for us. So let's start with the first one, right? We are discussing one by one. Let's start with the fat. Is fat something good for us? Is eating chicken or drinking milk or eating cheese or eating all this stuff that's full of fat, donuts, are they good for us? Or they are like, it's a little bit harm. See, the issue when you eat the donuts, and I eat the donuts, I am trying, like you, to follow all these advices, and sometimes I'm tempted, right? I see this donut and it's like so nice and tempting, and I eat it, and I'm guilty with that. But our discussion is not about me and you. It's about all of us making sure that if we eat, but making sure that 70-80% of our diet is correct. So at least if we do some mistakes and we are tempted and sometimes we eat, we will still balance so we can survive and we will not get the heart attack, we will not get the cancer, we will not actually get the diabetes until maybe after a long time, or maybe not. We are trying to reduce the chances. We are not trying to say you need to go live on the mountain and eat grass. We are trying to reduce the chances of you getting all these diseases. So let's start with the fat. We have 2 kinds of fat, right? We have something called trans fat and we have saturated fat. So this is, everything you are getting from the pizza, the cake, this is everything you are getting from the chicken, all these juices, all this ice cream you are eating, all this butter, which is interesting. This is when you go to the market and you see 0 fat, understand 0 fat of what? Because maybe it's full of saturated fat, but it's 0 of trans fat. It's 0 fat of what? They say both of them are bad fat for us. They say as a human being, if we don't eat fat, we die. We need to eat fat, but we need to eat the right fat. So what fat we need to eat? We need to eat the fat that they say unsaturated. So you can get this in the in some of the fish product. You can get avocado, in oil, in nuts, but don't get this fat. Try to reduce it, but this fat, try to run away from it, which is all the artificial trans fat that you are getting in your diet. Someone will say, yeah, I love it. I decided to become a vegetarian. I'm not gonna eat any more of this saturated fat. I'm not gonna eat any more animal tissue. I'm gonna cut on milk. I'm gonna cut on eggs. Done. And then after 20 years, they get all these diseases. And they say, yeah, how come? I'm not eating any of that. He's eating vegetables, fruits, and he's eating junk food. Biscuit and cookies and potato chips. He said potato chips is potato. It's not fat. Yes, but actually it's a process with all the flavors and with all the artificial things, and they actually fried and all this stuff that's happening. So these junk food that we are putting all in our body. Look, they say only in 1 can of regular soft drink, you are getting 16 teaspoons of sugar. Wow, all this food we are eating, right? Look how much sugar we are getting when you are getting, this is your Sunday. Or look how many teaspoons of sugar you are eating when you are getting your favorite cupcake. A huge amount of sugar, massive. And we don't think about it. Why? Because our body wants sugar. Sugar will go down. We want sugar again. Sugar will go down. Sugar. And then we go hungry to do shopping and we see all these amazing products in the supermarket. And they are shouting out, look what they are shouting out. We are not with artificial flavor. Wow, we are with natural flavor. So they are flavor, natural, but they are flavor. They meaning they are chemicals also, but they are natural chemical. Made of natural things, processed also. We have zero fat, but we are full of carbs. We are full of sugar, but zero fat, huh? You can eat us. So this is where these guys, they are shouting out, saying, we have vitamins. We added so much vitamin here. Just eat us. Good. And you wonder, why do I need these vitamins? I don't know, but vitamins is good. So if they added vitamins, it looks like better. Or they play with the game. Like what they say, healthy meal. And it's actually completely not healthy, but the name called healthy meal. So you say, the package said healthy meal. So you buy it. Or organic, lovely. They discovered that if you eat organic over long term, the effect on your body over long term is a little bit better. It's not like not better, it's a little bit better. But the price they are charging you for that organic, unbelievable, crazy.
It's a created word. There is no substantive fact to say that organic is natural product.
Exactly.
It's just created by the industry as another alternative.
Even better than organic. They tell you now and they convince you that these vegetables and fruit, that they actually manufacture the genes for them, and they did artificial way of creating them. They are free from diseases. They are great. They are amazing. And that's not actually the reality, because when you eat them, they are actually not the natural fruit we eat. The meaning they don't have the normal bacteria we should have, and they are going to cause diseases later. Because the nature created the perfect balance. If you want to create your own balance and you want to act in a different way than how nature will be, you are not going to get the same result. You can't manufacture food. Look at this word. You can't manufacture food. But what they call this the food aisle. Which is everything here is not food, it's processed. But we call it food. So what is food? Is this stuff that was processed? Or we are getting all these claims saying it's low of sugar. They said in the old days, remember like 50 days ago, what we need to eat are these. Grapes and fruit. Do you know what's the issue with the eating? The eating is actually process. Because there is no music when you are eating banana. Any music when you are eating banana? Any claims? Any flavor? It's just the flavor of a normal banana that you are eating. Because there is no advertising on the banana. Eating banana is good for you. There are no number of calories on the banana. They are not telling you when you eat avocado there is vitamin C in it. So you are saying, I should not eat avocado. But when you buy cereal, so much vitamin C, right? So this is where these fruit, why we don't eat them? Because they are not providing us marketing saying eat me. Compared to all these fruits in the summer, eat me, I'm good for you. How many they say, if you eat this product, you lose weight? Yes, if you eat only this product and you don't eat anything else. But actually, if you eat the fruits and you continue eating the fruits, you are going to lose weight. But fruits will not say, if you eat me, you lose weight, right? So many of us in the old days, they said eating is not important for a human. Look what they said. Why? They said, if we want to eat all these and we are going to buy them and figure out we need vitamin C this amount, vitamin D this amount, vitamin B this amount, all these vitamins, and we need to cut them and we need to have them in the right condition and then eat them, is a very complicated process and hard for us to do it. So what they said in the old days, they say in the future human will have this magical pill. You wake up in the morning breakfast, you just have it and got all the ingredients done. Lunchtime, you just have one pill, just like this with water. You don't need to get out of the office, right? No more lunch hour. Lunch hour is 1 minute, one pill.
Multivitamin tablet is there, no? Multivitamin tablet is already there.
Of course. This is why they convinced us. But this is the concept. They said we can reproduce the nature way of eating by giving you a chemical way of processed, ready for you in a tablet, which is, we call it vitamins. And this is where they created the multi-billion industry of vitamin, saying you need to have vitamins. Fruits and vegetables are going to give you the vitamins, but don't buy them. Why? Because if you are going to buy them, you are going to not figure out how many vitamin C in an orange. Compare, when we give you, we tell you exactly how many vitamin C. So when you eat the orange, you are wondering, how many vitamin C here? No. But okay, this is one pill a day. I know how much vitamin C I'm consuming. So they convinced us to stop buying fruit and start buying vitamin. which is we can get them actually in a natural way from the fruits and vegetables. But we are now so convinced in buying vitamin. Which fruit got high amount of vitamin C? Orange, lemon. Look how interesting. All of us, lemon, orange. Why? They marketed this to us in the supermarket. Why they marketed that? Not the orange company. The juice company that would like you to buy orange juice. So you are thinking, okay, I am sick, I need to buy orange juice, so in that way I will have vitamin C. Which is in actual kiwi, 3 times the amount. 3 times the amount of vitamin C. Do you know that? Not all of you.
We know, but you go and buy orange.
Yes, you know, but you go and buy orange. But do you know?
Where does kiwi fruit come from?
Aha, but look, it depends where kiwi is come from. This is why I saw a very interesting advertisement recently. I was walking in the aisle, and there's a kiwi. And my wife was walking next to me. My wife, she got no idea that kiwi got 3 times than the orange. So my wife, she said, oh look, this kiwi is so good. I said, why this kiwi is so good? She said, look, they said in this kiwi there are 3 times the amount of vitamin C inside the actual orange. So it's so good. I say, but this is the natural way of a kiwi. It should have 3 times the amount. But they are marketing it like this is a special kiwi. If you buy it, it's different than any other kiwi to buy. Which is interesting. If someone will start marketing food this way, I agree. That's fine. I will buy. At least they are telling me facts, and I'm buying something that's true. They are. We call them here in New A. What we call them? The golden kiwi. You know there are 2 kinds of kiwi, right? There is the green kiwi, and there are the golden kiwi. Golden kiwi coming from where originally?
I think
From New Zealand. Now, New Zealand, they are very famous, right? But actually, the kiwi seeds for the golden kiwi, they said coming originally from China. But actually, they took it and they were growing in Australia and New Zealand, and now in New Zealand they have the golden kiwi, which is very expensive. You go buy it, like sometimes the box is like 30 dirham. Interesting. So they convince us that we need to eat what? We need to eat vitamins. Vitamin is what's right for us. The world we are operating in sometime drove our body into a situation where our body said, oh my God, what the hell is all this stuff that we are putting in our body? Because they are chemicals after chemicals after chemicals. To a degree, our body decide to reject natural food and accept artificial food. And this is why we are facing a huge issues related now to what? Food allergies. How many of you have food allergy, huh? Food allergy. More and more, the new generation, they are rejecting what? All this. They can't eat peanuts, tree nuts, milk, eggs, wheat, soy, fish, seashell. What they can eat? Because if you look at so many of the products we eat, one of the ingredients is one of these. They say if they eat any of that, if they have a small amount touching their lips and is processed by their body, they will have major severe reaction. Sometimes they may die. They say it's eating something around for them is like going to a restaurant like this. There is an explosion that can happen anytime and they don't know why. Because whatever they are eating, they don't know what's inside. How interesting. This is what happened in our life. We are rejecting the natural food and we are accepting all this processed food. They say one of the issues why we have these allergies because of very simple thing. Do you know what's the concept of allergy? It's very simple. If you eat something and your body consider that what you are eating is an actual poison or something that your body should deal with it, it will send some kind of a chemical inside your body to say we need to fight this, and they consider this is a danger. So they will start sending, blood, moving your body, trying to say we are in a disaster situation, we need to deal with it. So you can stop breathing, you can swallow, at the end your blood will stop and you will die. This is how the allergy reaction will have on your body. It will say disaster, we need to deal with it. So let's discuss a story related to fraud when it comes to food. A very interesting story. The story goes like this. They say one of the very famous takeaway in England is what? Is Indian curry. Indian food. Indian food is very famous in England. Everyone would like to go and buy takeaway. So the story started like this. A lady, she went to the store in England, and this is an actual story. She went there and she bought actually some chicken karma. She told them, I am allergic to peanuts, so please make sure no peanuts. So they wrote on the box no peanuts, and they sold her the chicken karma. Usually chicken karma made out of what kind of powder inside the chicken karma? They usually is almond powder. Almonds, they have almonds or almonds powder inside. So she went home, she just started the first spoon of chicken karma, and immediately, she started having severe reaction. Her lips start exploding, and her nose start getting some itches, and after that she can't swallow anymore, and then she stopped breathing. So they took her immediately to the hospital. They examined her. They discovered that she got actually severe reaction to peanuts inside the food. You said, how come? So they went and they decided to go and speak with something called what? In UK, they have something called trading standards. Trading standards, they are responsible for the standard setting in UK. So they told them, we went to this restaurant, we requested a meal with no peanuts. However, they give us a meal with peanuts. So we are not sure if they have peanuts inside their meals or not. Because my daughter was gonna die, maybe someone else will die because of it. So they went, they sent an agent to order the same kind of dish from the same restaurant. They got the dish to the lab, they examined it, they discover it's full of peanuts. Even on the package said, this is for someone with no peanuts. They say, oh my God. So they sent a warning letter to the restaurant. They said, be careful, you have peanuts inside your food. At least if you want to serve the customer, tell them there are peanuts done. They want to buy, they want to buy. Now, after some time, after a couple of weeks, what happened? This guy, Paul Wilson, decided to go and buy, also from another store, another, Indian store in UK, decided to go and buy some Indian dish. It was chicken curry or something like that. Then he went back to his hotel room and he was eating it, and then he fell on the floor and he died. They discovered him dead in his room. So the police came, they examined the situation. They say most likely is related to the food that he ate. So on the food that he ate, looks like he only had less than 1 spoon from the food, and immediately he fell on the floor. So they took the food, and on the food written is no peanuts on it. And they examined his body, and they discovered most likely the reason of the death that he got a severe allergy reaction to the peanuts. And then they examined the food and they discovered there is massive amount of peanuts inside the food. So they look at the case, they look at the restaurants, and they discover that the actual owner of the first restaurant is the same owner of the second restaurant, which is this name called Muhammad Zaman. He is the owner of the 2 restaurants. So at that time, UK decided what we need to do. We need to do an investigation, and that will bring us to fraud examiners, right? How can you do an investigation to know if this guy was actually committing an act related to fraud, corruption, deception, crime, or not? What you do as an investigator. So now we come to your investigation skills. We discover that 2 restaurants are providing peanuts, but they said there's no peanuts. So should we take action against the restaurants, against the chef, or against the guy who is owning this chain of restaurants all over UK?
He's the guy, of course. End of the day, he's the owner.
It depends.
Who approved?
Who approved? So they decided to go and analyze the case. They went to analyze the case in this way. First, they went and they asked him, can you come? We would like to do an interview with you. So he came. They asked him, can you explain to us what happened? So look what he said. He said, actually, a couple of weeks ago, we decided to switch from giving almonds powder inside our food in all our restaurants that we run. He got a huge chain of Indian restaurants in UK. We decided to switch from almonds powder to peanuts powder. Why? Because almonds expensive. We are trying to cut on costs. And because of that, Do you know, we told the chef, be careful how when you put the meal, make sure you put it with almonds or no almonds, or you mention something. But these guys, they make a mistake. That's it. That's what he said. But after the investigator, they did the investigation by speaking with the supplier providing the peanuts and the almonds. The supplier, he said, the guy contacted me and he said that actually his restaurants, because he's expanding on a massive scale, they are not performing as expected, so he got a major cash issue. For that, he would like to cut on costs, so he asked me, how can we reduce the cost of the meal? So I told him one of the options, if you switch from almonds to peanuts. He said, it's a good idea, let's switch. But he told him, wait, if you do this switch, so many of your customers, they will have allergy reaction to peanuts. So if you are gonna do, you need to give a warning sign on the meals saying that don't eat it, because if someone will go and they are not expecting it, they will not say they are allergic, they will have issue. So the guy, he said, don't worry about it, I will deal with it, no, nothing will happen. So first, he was not doing his due diligence when it comes to ensuring the safety of the customer. This is number one. Number two, they sent him a warning a couple of weeks ago that someone was about to die because your guys in operation, they are not checking that this is peanuts or not peanuts. And they discovered that in the stores, no one informed the guys who are ordering that the guys in the back, they actually switch from almonds to what? To peanuts. So in that way, they have mismanagement. And the main reason that, you know, the actual manager of the chain, he is not implementing the right controls in place, and he caused the death of someone. So what's the end? What's the result? They sentenced him for 6 years in prison, because actually what he was doing, he was making a business decision that's causing him to make more money by causing a danger for the life of the consumer who are consuming without providing any warning to the consumer. So in that way, they are aware of the recent changes happening. Look how fraud and food, they can come together. If your business decision that your manager is making for him to improve the bottom line is gonna affect the health of the consumer or the food we are eating day and night by switching from something to something, and that is gonna affect our health, we can come and claim and say there are some issues happening, right? And this is where it's interesting with food. That if someone is doing something harm to us and they only give us the warning, it's okay. Like cigarettes. They have on the package, it will kill you. As long as they give you the warning and you decide to kill yourself, it's meeting the standard. But if they don't give you the warning, that's the major issue. How interesting. You just need to do whatever you want. Just give the warning that this will kill you. Just give the warning that this will kill you. Do you know how cigarettes they kill? In US, they said cigarettes will kill on a massive scale from actually smoking in the house and leaving the cigarette in the ashtray. Why? Because they say the minute you take the cigarette and you try to actually finish the cigarette in the ashtray, cigarettes, because they have certain material inside, sometimes they are still burning for the next 30 minutes if you don't close it in the right way. So what will happen if any of these ashes that's still actually with the flames will fly anywhere over your furnitures can get on fire. Interesting, right? So in that way, because so many fires happen in US because of individuals smoking in their house rather than outside and leaving the cigarette somewhere, or while they are smoking, some of the flames will go somewhere and cause fire. They decided they need to take action against the cigarette companies and telling them, please change the kind of material that you use for cigarettes so it will not cause fire. Then they said, if we change the kind of material we use for cigarette outside or inside or whatever we do, because there are so many issues with it, we are not going to make enough money. Why? Because you are going to smoke it and it will not, imagine trying to smoke. It's not nice. You want to smoke it and it will be easy to get the flame, right? It's not like you need to do a process to smoke it. So they said, no, we need to stop them. So what they decided to do, there is a very interesting movie called Misinformation. They said a merchant, the merchant of misinformation. How can you sell and produce misinformation to deceive the user? So what they said happened, look what happened. They decided to send someone to work with the firefighters, not the government, the firefighters, to be actually representing the firefighter voice in front of the government and tell the government, actually the main reason of fire in the house are not the cigarettes, are the furnitures. So we need to change the material of the furniture, so if the cigarette will go on it, the furnitures will not get on fire. And how can we do that? By creating a special material that they need to make inside the furniture that's chemical, that, you know, when you touch it is bad for you, when your kid is biting it in his mouth it's bad for him, but actually will not get on fire. And they actually changed the policy for 2 years in US to create a special furnitures that it will not get on fire when cigarettes were touched. Until after that they reversed that. But how interesting. And the debate finished. And we are still smoking cigarettes, which is going to cause fire. So we discussed today about so many things that can be bad for you and causing cancer for us, right? Which is, you know, all this processed food. Processed food is so bad because they are processed and they are making our body actually not figuring out what to do. So we are changing our cells to fit with this processed food. But be careful, don't be fooled. It's not only us, are these lovely animals. How many of you go to the supermarket and you buy all these products and they for you more fiber, more vitamin, more whatever for your animals. And they discover that also animals are getting cancer and they are dying and they have issue in their system. Why? This is not the food they used to eat. Animals, they used to eat natural food. And rather than giving him natural food, this dog and cat, you are giving him processed food that for us as a human, it's hard for us. What about them? And you are wondering why he is so happy with it. Because it's exactly the right formula to make him happy. But on the long term, he's going to get sick. Very interesting, the world we are living in. It's all about this amazing experience that we are trying to fool ourselves with. And some of you, I know that some of you are going to be changing your diet after, or you are going to decide to make a decision. Some of you will not. But what is interesting, what about the rest of these guys who can't afford to actually eat healthy food? What they do? They go and they take a photo of this amazing menu deal, right? And they have it on Facebook. And what they are eating is what? Completely different dish. Do you remember this lady? She had lunch and she went to the doctor. She said, I'm sick out of this lunch. And the doctor, he said, why? What did you eat? She said, I just had burger and fries and Coke. Her friend, she said, no, you are not on Facebook. Actually, what you ate? She said, falafel sandwich. So what is the reality? Are we more interested in taking photo about the food we are eating or actually eating healthy food? Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the session.